to speak on the topic of evaluate to motivate.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
Great.
It was a fun session this morning. How many of us come to the meeting to get evaluated? And how many of us think that evaluation is very important? Evaluation is very important because when we get evaluated in a Toastmasters meeting, there are three people who are getting benefits or profits from it. First of all, the evaluator, he listens to the speech and he has to come to the stage and evaluate someone impromptu. So it's a great learning experience for the evaluator himself. The audience, when they get to hear the evaluations, they have seen the speaker speak and they see the evaluator evaluating the speech. They get an opportunity to learn from others' mistakes or improvement areas, and they can themselves apply those changes in their own speeches. And finally, there is the speaker who gets evaluated on the things he's doing right and the things he can do better. So how does the speaker get benefits? Immediate feedback. Why do you think immediate feedback is important? Anyone? Why is immediate feedback important? Kate?
Immediate feedback is important, maybe because it's more impactful to the listener.
Exactly. So I'll recall a story from my experience. So when I transitioned into managerial roles initially, what I used to do was I would observe my team and I would note down the things they are doing right and the things which can be improved. Every once in a month, I'll call them and discuss them. The problem was that as soon as I told them that, hey, this is something we can do better, his response was, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't recall what happened. So you need immediate feedback for the person to realize what is the mistake and to fix that mistake. Offering methods for improvement. As an evaluator, you have to define what specific item you want to improve and suggest the areas of improvement or how he can improve. So for example, my evaluator can tell me I may not be having enough eye contact, and he can close it out, that feedback there. But if he gives me the evaluation that, hey, what you can do is look at Kate for 5 seconds. Look at John, the next sentence you're talking. And then you can look at Tom. That kind of feedback would be much more beneficial for a speaker. And evaluations are very important for the speaker to build and maintain self-esteem. We do have new guests today in our meeting. Many of us join the club just to get exposure to speak in front of an audience because you're not comfortable enough, or you lack the confidence when people come in. Evaluations or evaluators, it's evaluators' duty to promote self-esteem so that the individual who, or the speaker is influenced and gains confidence so that he can come next time and speak with more conviction and confidence. Evaluating by tell and sell approach. When the evaluator talks and the speaker listens. So this is an approach created by or proposed by Toastmaster. What does that mean? This means that when the evaluator talks, it's a one-sided conversation. It's not a two-sided conversation where the speaker can reply back to the evaluator. Any guesses why it has been designed like that?
So the speaker, the one being spoken to, that is, doesn't get offended or have to defend themselves in any way.
Precisely. So a couple of items why this has been designed like this is, one is it saves time, it is efficient, otherwise you can get into conversations and you can start defending. The other aspect is the speaker who is getting the feedback can concentrate on what the feedback is rather than start thinking about how he wants to respond to that feedback. And then it lessens what the feedback was and what he gains from that feedback. Lastly, on this, new members are generally should not evaluate until they have given a few speeches. Toastmaster manual says around 3 speeches are the minimum to give, but the more speeches you have gone through and you have understood how the format works, what are the critical areas an evaluator should look at, you should avoid giving evaluations, otherwise they might not be that constructive. How to evaluate effectively? So before the speech, you have basically 3 aspects of evaluation: before the speech, during the speech, and after the speech. So before the speech, talk to the speaker. Talk to the speaker about the manual objectives. Why is that necessary? Because you need to evaluate per the objectives of the speech. A speaker who is coming here as part of the Toastmasters format is always focusing on one key area, focus area for that particular speech. And you have to, as an evaluator, you should know what that criteria is or what the person has worked on. So you need to understand manual objectives, any evaluation guidelines specified in the manual, and any concerns which the speaker has, or are there any specific areas which speaker points out that he wants himself to be evaluated on. During the speech, show that you are interested. Do not yawn. Focus and try to listen to what the person is saying as much as possible. Put yourself in the position of the speaker. So think that you yourself are the speaker and what you could have done better in imparting that speech. To take notes, otherwise you'll forget when you go to evaluate. During your evaluation, choose your words carefully. Why is that important? John?
You don't want to hurt somebody's feelings.
Precisely. You don't want to hurt anybody's feeling, you don't want to discourage, but you also want to point out what are the improvement areas. So messaging, what you want to say is very important, packaging that, right? So stay away from words like you didn't, you failed to, or you should have. but you could use words like, I believe you could have done this. My reaction to that was, and I suggest that you may want to do a particular thing. As an evaluator, keep three things in mind: what you saw, what you heard, and what you felt, and define your speech based on those, or define your evaluation based on those criteria, so that the holistic speech is covered. Speech is covered holistically. Finally, evaluate the speech, not the person. Anybody want to take a crack at what that means, Kermit?
Yes, if you evaluate the person, then it can become personal. If you're evaluating the speech, then of course you're incorporating the evaluation of the person, but at the same time, and more importantly, you are highlighting the speech, which is what we're looking at, not so much as a person, but how the speech comes across.
Exactly. You want to concentrate on the characteristics which need to be improved, and not the person is not at the fault, but he just needs to work on that particular characteristic, and you don't want it to become personal. And you need to promote self-esteem, and to do that you need to encourage the person and show him the path. Encourage and show the path. For that, for promoting self-esteem, give honest and sincere praise, positive reinforcement when needed, and always end your evaluations positively. Avoid being disingenuous. Honest evaluations are upbeat and encouraging while offering suggestions for improvement. Avoid being disingenuous. Anybody want to take a crack at that, what that means, and when that happens, Kay?
Well, I think that if you're speaking from the heart about what you heard and you thought and what you felt, then that needs to come across in your evaluation. If it doesn't, then it feels like you're just going through the motions and you're not giving all that you can to the evaluation.
Precisely. So, I believe we have good speakers and we have better speakers. Even the best speakers we have, they have an opportunity to improve. And sometimes, as an evaluator, we may start flattering, our evaluation may be only covering the positive aspects of the speech. But when a speaker has invested time, he wants to get that evaluation. What did I do right? What should I do next to get to the next level? So you have to be genuine. You definitely have to call out the areas where the person has excelled, and also point out the areas where he can excel. Closing. When you are closing your evaluation, connect to your opening statement. So go back if you started out in a positive fashion where you outline certain key factors. Go back to that. Summarize your key points which you had covered as part of your body of your evaluation. Give a personal story or example if you have time. Personal story always makes the speaker feel more connected and make him realize that you really heard what he said and you connected. And encourage listeners to apply what they heard and learned. Thank you. I hope this would help you in your future evaluation. Thank you.